Hello YouTube, it's Atticus. Good morning, I hope everybody's doing okay. And I'm back with you, sorry I got some hair in my face there, with a new replay. So today we are playing as the Wood Elves. I did my last couple games were Dark Elves, so I thought I'd switch it up a little bit. But we're going to be fighting some Druchii, so I'm going to see if my knowledge of the Druchii, by playing them so much, helps me beat them. Knowing their weakness, knowing how to exploit it. So I'm taking a pretty cool Wood Elf army here, so with some units you rarely see, but there's a thought behind it. There's a method to the madness. So I'll go ahead and jump into my build here. You can see that I've brought in the Ancient Tree Man, and yeah, guys, the Ancient Tree Man is actually good now. That the recent patch they did gave him armor piercing. And yeah, I mean, he can actually hold his own against, other lords and stuff like that. And he's just really good at, stomping through infantry as well. He has good armor, and he has magic attacks, which is one of the most important things about him because it allows him to bypass physical resist. And you get the added benefit of having, lore of the healing. So with him, though, I brought different spells. I didn't bring regrowth. I brought the Dwellers Below, so I wanted to see how this spell would actually work. You don't really see it a lot, and it's an area of effect, DPS spell, but I also brought Earthblood, the cheaper one. Since the spell's so expensive, I figured I wouldn't have enough for regrowth. For my front line, I went Dryads, and yeah, Dryads have a little bit of physical resistance. And of course, they do magic damage themselves, so these guys are really good against low-tier infantry. Now, if you try to put them against Hargonef Executioners or something like that, of course they're going to lose. So we have 4 units of those. In the secondary line, I have some Wildwood Rangers, and these guys are going to be, the units that are going to be dealing with any of the heavy infantry of the Druchii. And these guys will hopefully be able to chew through it. And you can see I also brought the Regiment of Renown Wardens of Seathrill, and these guys are really cool. They have anti-large as a benefit as well, and armor sundering, so something that a lot of people kind of forget. So them with a combination of my Dryads will make it a lot easier for the Dryads to do damage. Excuse me. So for my range contingent, I have 3 units of Starfire Chefs, and yeah, we're going to be trying to get Witch Elves, Sisters of Slaughter, anything that's doesn't have a shield chance. And yeah, these guys are okay. I mean, they're a pretty good option for the gold you spend. I mean, if you don't want to pay the 1100 for Way Watchers, these guys could do good as long as you can protect them. I also have here 2 Eagle Riders, and I'm on the fence about these guys, trying to find exactly what it is that they're good at. You'll see here they're going to be trading with these 2 Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows, so we'll see how good they do in actual, sustained combat. They do have armor piercing melee though, so it comes in handy if you do need to put them into melee. You see I have the Wild Hunters of Kronos too, and these guys are of course just beasts. They have Frenzy. Vanguard, they're just really strong, and they also have Guardian Tree, I do believe. Let's see if it'll let me look on it. Yep, if you look at that bottom right icon right there, that skull, it's a Guardian thing, so it means the Lord around them will get a little bit of a ward save. So that's my build, guys. Let's go ahead and look at the Druchii here. And yeah, for his lord, it looks like we have Lokir Felheart, so on a black dragon. So yeah, I like this pick. I think he's really strong in this matchup because he has regeneration. So if I'd have brought a lot of Way Watchers, he'd be able to take some of that damage and then still be able to fight. And we have a Sorceress of Death. So let's look what spells opponent brought. So Purple Sun and Spirit Leech. For his front line, he has some Spearmen. Secondary line of Dark Shards with shields, always smart to take the shielded unit. Now, in my experience, I don't think Dark Shards are good in this matchup just because they get outranged so much. 125 range to, let's just look at 170 of the Glade Guard. Also has a Witch Elf, and these guys are good but risky in this matchup if I would have won a lot of ranged. He has a back line of, what are they called? The Black Guard of Nagron. And a spear here in the back. He also has a lot of Vanguard options. We'll go ahead and just get the match started now. He has 2 units of Harpies, which are always, really smart pick in this matchup. Another 2 units of Dark Riders with shields, so it's really good to have those for the backline of Ras. And then, of course, you saw these 2 Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows. So we're going to go ahead and start the matchup here. And yeah, right off the bat here, the Hawk Riders are going to start shooting into the Dark Riders Repeater Crossbows. So DPS wise, the Hawk Riders do more damage since these guys are more based for armor piercing. These guys are just straight just for unarmored targets, kind of like that. They do have a higher DPS per second. I'm going to see that my opponent has these 2 Dark Riders in the back, so I'm going to send my Wild Riders of Kronos here to try to protect my Glade Guard. I've invested a lot into these guys, so I need to keep them alive as long as possible. You can see the armies are starting to move up. I don't have the Ren command on because I'm trying to, keep these guys, their stamina as high as possible. Now you can see that the Glade Guard are going to start firing. And we're going to start sending one unit of Glade Guard to fire at the Black Guard of Nagaron. I'm going to have another one shooting at the Witch Elves. And the other one I think is going to be trying to get Malekith. You can see that the Hawk Riders are doing really good against these Dark Riders of Repeater Crossbows. So here the Spears and the Dryads have collided. So now we got a little bit of a battle. And the Dryads are going to excel with that. Because I forgot to mention, I gave them triple silver chevrons. Here I do get a Dwellers below. So we're testing some of the damage here. And let's take these guys to half health. 59 units. So it's a lot of magic to spend, but it almost took those guys down to 3/4. You can see that my opponent is going to get some harpies into my Glade Guard, and he is going to get a purple sun off, but it kind of veered off in the wrong direction. He needed to get this really powerful group of Wildwood Rangers. Here you can see the Tree Man and Lokir Fellheart now are in combat, and you can see he's going to get pimp slapped by the Ancient Tree Man. But I have the Wardens of Cithril in support, and they're anti-large. So Lokir is could possibly take some damage. You can see here he is popping his Deadly Onslaught and Dreaded Duelist, which is going to give him a pretty good buff to his damage. You can see the lines have broken though, so now we have the Dryads marching forward, and we're going to be trying to chase off these Dark Shards. We need to get these guys out of range of my lord. Over here you can see that these Glade Riders, or Glade Guard, have been shooting into these Black Guard, and we've taken them down by a lot of health. These Harpies have got into these Glade Guard here, and he's using some of his units now to cycle charge, and you can see the Hawk Riders the whole time are hitting him in the back. If we look over here, you can see the Wild Riders of Kronos are fighting these Dark Riders, and these Dark Riders aren't going to be long for the world. Wildwood Riders will absolutely destroy them, especially with that frenzy. Over here, you can see the Dryads are still just chasing off these this little group of units right here, and the Dryads are just so good once you put some chevrons on them. You can see that Earthblood is going to be cast. I'm just trying to heal up my men, but my opponent, he only has a unit of Dread Spears here trying to deal with these Wildwood Rangers, a Tree Man, and it's just a lot of armor piercing. It's just going to crush through those guys. Opponent does have almost a full unit of Dark Shards right here who are starting to shoot, but they're really close. He needs to try to get them here in the back. Opponent's going to get a really good breath weapon though, but he just doesn't have a powerful enough infantry corps to chew through my Wildwood Rangers. Over here you can see the Hawk Riders and the Glade Guard here are just starting to shoot into Lokir. We're just trying to do a little bit of damage. But he is going to catch one of my units, which is really unfortunate. I am able to pull one of them away, but he has them into melee. Now these guys do have armor piercing, so at least they're going to be able to do a little damage if Lokir tries to get in close. Over here you can see that the Ancient Tree Man is kind of chasing off these Dark Shards, but I am going to pull him back just because I don't want him getting out of position. If he was able to pull Lokir and then try to goon him, I wouldn't have any of my infantry support. But you can see anywhere he goes though, I have Glade Guards, I got Hawk Riders. I'm just doing this overwhelming ranged overwatch, which is just chipping away at his armies, and we've pretty much just broken all of his infantry support. He does have this Sorceress right here who's going to come into these Dryads, but she's not on a cold one, so she's going to take a lot of damage. Over here you can see that one of my units of Glade Guard are just chasing away some Harpies, and now the forces are pretty much all scattered out. You can see I have units just escorting his troops all off the map. Now he does have a unit of Dark Riders of Repeater Crossbows right here, but in this matchup you don't have a lot of armor, so those aren't really going to be as effective as they normally would be. Over here you can see the Ancient Tree Man is going to get into these Dread Spears, but these Dread Spears are just going to get destroyed, especially with the Wildwood Rangers coming in from the back. But my opponent does have this ranged overwatch with the Dark Shards, and he is just going to leave the game. The balance of power was heavily in my favor, so good game to my opponent. Let's go ahead and look at the in-screen breakdown. Sometimes people just don't want to play it to the end. I kind of like to play it to the end unless you really think it's hopeless. But if you look at the match right here, guys, the key to success, the Dryads did really good with the chevrons. I always think it's smart, guys, to put a few chevrons on your units, on your basic units, just because it's going to trade a lot better with your opponent's basic units. It's not that much gold. Maybe 300 extra gold was spent to allow these guys to have a lot better staying power. The Glade Guard did pretty good. I mean, they were able to apply constant overwatch and pressure onto Lokir, and you saw how good the Wildwood Riders did. They were able to shut down his two Dark Riders. Hawk Riders, I'm still on the fence. They were able to beat the Repeater Crossbows one-on-one in a ranged battle, but I don't know. Maybe I just need to test them some more. And the Wildwood Rangers, guys, just did really good. He didn't have a lot of dedicated armor piercing. He had this one unit of Blackguard, but yeah, he was definitely planning on using his range to try to support, for the makeup for not having that elite infantry. So these Wildwood Rangers, especially the Wardens, they have shields, armor sundering. So yeah, I mean, it was a good pick. And the Tree Man, I mean, yeah, I actually, before that new last patch, he was worthless. You would never take the Ancient Tree Man, but now that he has armor piercing, he's actually good, and he's a really good alternative to Durthrough if you're trying to save money. So that was the build. As for my opponent, yeah, I mean, maybe he was experimenting. In my experience, and there's always going to be factors that could change this, but trying to go ranged against the Wood Elves is a risky play, just because you're going to be outranged, you're going to be out damaged, DPS, or excuse me, you're going to be at a disadvantage when it comes to dealing DPS. He had a lot of good backline harass, which was smart, but maybe, I mean, if you're fighting against what am I trying to say? The Wood Elves, Celestial Harvesters, Doomfire Warlocks or something. Maybe you could cut, a few of these units, maybe cut these 2 Dark Riders or Repeater Crossbows and pick up a Celestial Harvester, something that could just get into the inevitable Archer play that you'll have. But, so, alright guys, that was a quick one. I hope you enjoyed that. And, yeah, so I know I said I'd get a bonus video yesterday, but I didn't get around to it, so maybe I'll do 2 videos for today. I have a game on extra large funds that I did. It was a Dark Elf versus, what was it? It was something really cool, though, versus, it's coming to me, High Elves, and the opponent went really heavy on like Shadow Walkers and things like that. It was almost borderline cheese, and I beat him, and I want to show you guys how to deal with High Elf skirmish builds, especially as the Druchii, and it's extra large funds on ultra settings, so it's just really cool to look at. So, alright guys, it's Atticus. I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed that, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you.